Seersucker soup on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Well, welcome to Capital Region today. I'm so happy you're joining us today. We have a great lineup. Such great stuff coming up, and I tell you, in our community of the Capital Region, there are so many events coming up. We're going to hear all about many of the events that are coming up. But on today's show, we have a performer. We have Carmen Lookshire, who will be here, and she'll be singing her new single. So we're kind of happy about that. She brought Joe Carrick with her. And also, we're going all the way up to Saratoga, and we're going to be talking about Opera Saratoga and what they're doing. They have some really great programs. You're going to want to know all about them, what's coming up, where they're performing, and what they're doing for the elderly in our community. And then we're going to be talking to an author, and he's written a book that's composed of his blogs, which is called The American Crisis, and he's kind of chronicled things that have been going on, and he'll be talking about that as well. And then we have the new timer on our show is the Creative Action Unlimited, and they'll be on, and we're going to be talking to them about some of their events that are coming up, and they are performing over at Russell Sage, so we're going to hear about that. That's over in Troy. And then, of course, Schenectady, Restaurant Week is coming up. We're going to hear all about Restaurant Week and what restaurants are participating. And the really good news is they have lunches and dinners, so we're going to hear about that too, because that's new this year. But we're going to start right out with Carmen Lookshire. She's been on the show before. She's got a fabulous voice. I love her voice. And she brought Joe Carrick with her. Did I say that right? Boom. But anyway, they are both composers and lyricists, right? Because you write the words and he writes the music.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which comes first, the music or the egg?
It always changes. It changes every time.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you wrote a song. And
Yes. Our latest release is called I'm Not Crazy.
Okay.
And we're excited to share that today. It's about toxic relationships, narcissism, gaslighting, which actually turned out to be 2022's Word of the Year. So I kind of released the song at a good time.
Well, gaslighting comes, if you don't know, it comes from a movie, and with Ingrid Bergman, and
Yes,
Charles Boyle, yeah. It was a wonderful film, and it was all about gaslighting, and it had to do with the gaslighting.
Right.
Yes. So you want to sing it now?
Oh, sure.
Okay, go ahead. I'm Not Crazy.
This is I'm Not Crazy. I'm not crazy, baby, until you make me crazy. You might say that I'm crazy, but you gon' see just how crazy I can be. Intuition tells me something ain't right, but you keep telling me everything's fine. I smell something that's not cologne. A different number lit up your phone. I'm not crazy, baby, until you make me crazy. You might say that I'm crazy, but you gon' see just how crazy I can be. Mind manipulation causing all this frustration. Don't think you can gaslight me, 'cause clear as day I can see that I'm not crazy, baby, until you make me crazy. You might say that I'm crazy, but you gon' see just how crazy I can be. You think you're smart with your tilted head and a smile. Yes, I'm crazy 'cause I care. I'm sick in the heart, but you're sick in the head. So maybe, baby, I'm not the one that's crazy. I'm not crazy, baby, until you make me crazy. You might say that I'm crazy, but you gon' see just how crazy I can be. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. What a great song.
Thank you so
And
much.
we all know at times people can make us, well, crazy.
Yeah, that might be a little bit my boyfriend's influence in that. Just a tiny.
well, we're not going to go there. We
Poor
won't go
guy.
there. We won't
People
go
ask me that all the time. I'm like, no, it really.
This is about me?
You know.
No, but I mean, you see toxic relationships all over the place.
Right.
You appear at a number of places, so where are you
Oh
appearing?
my gosh. Well, we just performed at the Linda. We did a lot of our originals.
The Linda's such a great
Oh
stage
my gosh.
area. Oh my
It was a
gosh.
great experience. And we also
Peter
just.
Hughes over there is great to work with, isn't he?
Yeah, good people over there. And we just did the Albany Wine and Dine for the Arts, so that was really exciting. It was good to see people and places that have booked us over the years, or I've met through the arts. And
With
it's
the pandemic, things kind of.
Yeah, and it's good to be back.
Yeah.
It really is.
Joe, you're awfully quiet.
I don't want to barge in. I'm good, yeah.
So how long have you been playing with Carmen?
Probably since I'm 12 years old.
No,
you've
with
known
me.
each other for a long time.
Approximately 5 years.
Yeah,
About
okay.
5 years we've been together. We met at a cafe.
Okay.
And I was playing with a friend of mine, and I happened to watch her play sing a karaoke kind of thing. And I was struck at
Her voice is amazing,
the beauty
isn't it?
of her voice just struck me. And
Yeah.
I mentioned to the owner that if she wants a musician behind her, instead of a tape player or a CD.
Yeah,
or
who
whatever
needs
it is.
that? Yeah.
And she started coming with me and my friend to the cafe and singing with us, and then
Every Thursday, and it was called Life's Guilty Pleasures. So,
So I
that's
know
where we get our name.
You use that name.
Yeah.
Life's
yeah, I'm
Guilty
life's
Pleasures.
guilty pleasure.
He's guilty.
Yeah. And I know you have an album out too.
Yes,
so.
our first album, that's when we were here
Yeah,
last.
you were here last
Oh
when
my
you had
gosh.
your first
a lot.
album, yeah.
And it's called For Love.
Yeah.
And we have a song that we're going to perform
Okay,
today
go
from
ahead,
that
go ahead.
album. It's
Yeah.
called Ruby Red.
Okay.
Because
Oh,
everywhere.
that comes from your album.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everywhere we go, people are pointing out Joe's guitar, whose name is Ruby.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful lady. So we had to write a song about her.
Okay.
This
Ruby
is Ruby
Red. Here we go. And this is one you wrote too.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
These ruby red lips and high-heeled shoes, see you staring from across the room. You start to make your way over to me, and as they say, the rest is history. Smoky bar, he's taking draws on his cigar. Machinacious move, someone singing the blues.
Oh, sweet.
Fitted dress, matching pearl necklace. She's a sight to see, and the fellas call her Ruby. She's a lady with a girlish physique, and she's likely to walk out. I'm sure that she'll walk with the last guy she meets. Ba 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 da da do da. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da do da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Never fall for a musician, you're always told. But when you get lonely, honey, who will you have to hold? She's a lady with a girlish physique, and she's likely to walk out. I'm sure that she'll walk with the last guy she meets. Oh, these ruby red lips and high-heeled shoes, see you staring from across the room. You start to make your way over to me, and as they say, the rest is history. She's a lady with a girlish physique, and she's likely to walk out. I'm sure that she'll walk with the last guy. Yeah, she's likely to walk out. I'm sure that she'll walk with the last guy. Oh, she's likely to walk out. I'm sure that she'll walk with the last guy she meets.
guitar work. I was listening to you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you very
nice,
much.
Nice,
Thank
it was
you.
really sweet. Yeah, I noticed those riffs there. That was great.
The blues.
How did they get your single?
Well, the single is streaming now everywhere on Spotify, Apple Music, all those sites. And our album, For Love, is also streaming on there. You can check that out. And we're doing a special show on March 2nd at the Berlin in Troy. We're so excited because the picture on our album was taken at the Berlin.
Oh, okay.
So now we're finally performing at the place where we took the photo.
That was
So
great, yeah.
If you want to come out, 7 to 9 on March 2nd. We're excited about that.
Well, you've been listening to Carmen Lookshire, and with Joe Carrick, he's the accompanist, and he's also written the music to these songs. So I just love these songs. They're so great, and I love the little scat you did.
Oh,
They
thanks.
call it, yeah. That's what they used to call it. Anyway, I don't know if they still do. Thank you both for being here, and
You're
best
welcome.
best of luck with your album and all your performances that I
you so
see.
much.
And keep sending me your emails. I'd
Thank
love
you.
to see where you're performing.
A pleasure being here.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's great
Thank
to
very
see you
much.
both. We're going to switch right over. Now, you heard that. Now we're going to go to Opera Saratoga. I'm not sure if they're going to be singing any opera today, but we do have the guests on the show. And with me, I have, and I'm going to put them in the order. We have here right next to me Amanda, Robie, she's with me, and then next to her is Melissa Howe, and then we have Katrina Fasulo. Right? Yeah, I say that right? Okay, good. So they're here, and we're going to be talking about what they're doing. And I don't know if you get the Gazette, because this is what I saw. There's a great article, front page here, and this is in the 50 Plus Living, and there's quite an article. So if you can still find that, it was in Sunday's paper, September the 5th, so take a look at it, and you'll learn a little bit more about one of the things they're doing, and they're going to tell us about it. So let's start right out with Amanda. Amanda, tell me about what Opera Saratoga is doing.
Yeah, we have so many programs that we are so excited to have been launching and launched. So I'm actually going to have Melissa speak to our first program that we finally got launched that you were speaking to that was on the front page, which is our Songs by Heart program. And Melissa has really taken the lead in getting that program started. So Melissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about Songs by Heart?
Yeah, it's an amazing program.
It is, and we're so excited to have this program finally actively running. We had meant to start it before the pandemic. We had seed money from Opera America, so we were lucky to get in and start this programming.
You're one of, like, I heard 85, 1,500 applicants, and wasn't that, you've got
We are
down to the 85th?
Yes, but also
85.
we're the
Nationwide.
First, yeah, we're the first opera company nationwide that has started this programming.
Wonderful.
There is one other company that is doing this programming now, but we're the only one in New York State that does this kind of music programming. So what we do is we go into memory care centers and dementia units.
And they love music.
They do love music, and it's so important to bring this kind of programming to these units because we know as musicians that music really helps you connect to different parts in your brain. And with Alzheimer's dementia patients, it's paramount. We have to connect this way, right? So we are blessed and lucky that we get to do this programming. We have 2 fabulous teams of musicians that go into memory care centers. It's a 45-minute program of music from, the 20s, 30s, music from childhood, like Take Me Out to the Ball Game, patriotic music. And so we sing, but we also, it's not just like a sing-along. Of course, the patients do sing along when they can. It's more of a hands-on, one-to-one communication and interaction with each patient. We get to look them in the eye, see them connect, and it's a beautiful moment when we do see that happen with some patients who, they come in, they're not really into being there, and then by the end of the 45 minutes,
They're singing along
They
with
are
you.
singing along, they are awake again, and they have, some patients have their families with them, and their families get to witness that too. So I'm so proud that Opera Saratoga is bringing this program to the Capital Region.
Yeah,
It's
they-
much needed.
I think we do find from research that with Alzheimer's and dementia patients, music stays with them.
It is.
So
It's
you're
one of the
just
core-
kind of
bringing
boosting.
it, yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful moment.
But that's not all you do.
That is not all we're doing. Another program.
But it's a big one.
It is a big one. It's something that we've been trying to get off the ground for quite some time now, so we're just so thrilled that we are able to get out there to these communities and see the difference that it's making.
Yeah.
So another program though that we're really excited about that is highlighting a different aspect of opera and Opera Saratoga is our America Sings program.
And that's going to be at Caffe Lena?
It is. It is at Caffe Lena, and it kicks off on Sunday, February 19th. And I would love to have Katrina Fasulo speak to that, as she has been very instrumental in getting that program going.
Okay, and what is America Sings?
So America Sings is a concert series in 4 parts, again hosted at Caffe Lena. It is intended to amplify the voices of BIPOC artists, to singers from diverse ethnic backgrounds who have not historically been represented on the concert stage and the classical music stage. So we're so delighted to kick it off, as Amanda shared, on February 19th with a mezzo-soprano, Sierra Bird, who is a former Opera Saratoga alum and was with us in 2019 as the Witch in Hansel and Gretel. So our audiences will recognize her from that. But she's also taken off with significant career trajectory and is doing wonderful things with the Metropolitan Opera, Linden and Young Artist Program. And our whole roster of artists for this series have all been Opera Saratoga singers previously and are all doing incredible things.
And these are all at Caffe Lena, and I think they might have brought up the screen with America Sings.
Yes.
But this goes on through June 18th.
Through June 18th, we'll culminate in a Juneteenth Eve celebration with Dr. Carl DuPont. And we're just so excited to share this with our audiences. There is an opportunity, of course, to see it live in person at Caffe Lena, 110-seat intimate venue in Saratoga.
Oh, I
Springs.
love Caffe Lena.
Yes, and then for audiences who can't tune in or who can't attend live, they can tune in virtually through Caffe Lena TV with just a donation of their choosing.
Yeah.
So we're really, really excited to be amplifying these artists. They have complete onus in curating the program themselves, which is very unique. Opera companies and different classical music producers will often dictate the repertoire that artists sing. And a special part of this program is that they, as the independent artists, get that opportunity to curate and sing what they love and tell the stories that they wish to share.
Okay, so this is not strictly opera. This is just
No.
strictly concert of music that is
Sure.
underrepresented.
It's short, operatic,
Yeah.
jazz.
It can be anything.
Anything that they want, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's a wonderful idea, a concept to get voices out there. Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the whole point, we have all of these phenomenal voices, and so many of them don't get as many opportunities, and we would like to fix that and get more opportunities for these amazing singers that we've had the opportunity to know, and we want to expand that and expand their outreach to the world, because we think they're really important.
But that's not all you do.
You're right, that's not all we do.
That's not all you do.
We're kind of going chronologically through our season, but the next thing that we have coming up is getting back into our education program out
Opera
there
to
for
Go.
the students, Opera to Go. And similarly with Songs by Heart, the pandemic truly affected that seriously for the last few years. So we're really excited to be going back into the schools this year. And I will, again, let Melissa speak to that because she is in charge of that program as well.
Right, so usually we go into schools during March for Music in Our Schools Month. This year, because of the way our season is running, we are going into schools in May now. So the first 3 weeks of May, we will be sending our Opera to Go team into various elementary schools throughout the capital region. And they perform a 45-minute presentation of our opera, The Selfish Giant, which is the story, The Selfish Giant, that we all know. So we're excited to go back into the schools, and I know all the teachers I've talked with so far are so excited to have live opera again, because we've been away from the schools, right? So it's getting to be able to go back into schools, interact with the kids and the teachers, and just have opera back in their lives again. So we're really excited about that.
And I will give a plug because you will be appearing at the Schenectady Civic Players
We will be.
sometime in the summer.
Yes, we'll
yeah.
be doing performance at Schenectady Civic Players and
I-
other venues throughout the region.
Exactly. So not just there, but there's throughout the area.
Right.
And that's bringing it right to the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that's not.
And that's
Wait,
not
there's
all.
more.
And then we finally hit the summer, which is our peak festival season. We're really excited. We're going to be welcoming 21 festival artists this season. They are our core singers and pianists and assistant directors and assistant conductors. And this is a very prestigious training program that we've had for years at this company. And we're thrilled that this year we're going to be really highlighting that program. And everybody who's performing in our main stage productions this season are either former festival artists or current festival artists, because they are just phenomenal artists that we want to show off as part of our program. So we're very excited. We have 2 main stage productions this season. We're going to be
Main stage where?
Yeah, main stage productions at Universal
Because
Preservation
we're in
Hall.
Proctor's, so when you say
You're
main
right.
stage, we
You're
think
right.
Proctor's.
We are
It's
not
not
Proctor's right now, but we're going to be at Proctor's sister location
Yeah,
up in
at
Saratoga
UPA.
Springs at Universal Preservation Hall. We're very excited to be
That's
there.
an amazing,
It's a beautiful
acoustically is
venue.
wonderful.
And we're so excited to bring opera into that space
Yeah.
for that reason. So our opera for the season is going to be Donizetti's Don Pasquale, which is a fun romp out there about, it's all about deception and money and who's going to end up with who and hijinks and all of that. So we're really excited. We're bringing back former festival artist Andy Pappas in the title role, and then our festival artist for the season will be playing the other roles. And we also have a former assistant director, Megan Dieter, who will be directing the show. So it's really exciting. And then for our musical for the summer, we're going to be doing A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Oh, I've seen that.
which
That's
is
wonderful.
another-
What fun that is.
Another fun romp through
That
hilarity.
is really fun.
Another former festival artist, Eric McConnell, is going to be taking on the role of the Dicewith family. And for those who don't know the show, that is 9 different roles
I
all
know
wrapped up
he
in
does.
one.
I know he does.
So we're really excited to see him shine in that, and then again have the festival artists fill out the rest of that cast. And then for our Opera to Go program, The Selfish Giant, we are actually going to also be doing that as part of our festival, and we'll be doing 2 free
For
shows
people. For people.
for anybody, for children ages young through
Yeah.
through old. So we want everybody to come and see that show. It's also going to be at Universal Preservation Hall, and we're going to be doing that as daytime shows during our festival season on the Saturdays. And we encourage, that's free to the public. We really want to encourage people to bring their families. It's family friendly. Come
Exposure.
and come and see what an opera is all about.
Yeah.
We
What
would love
fun.
to have you come and see it.
And I think it's pertinent to mention as well, if I may, it's a world premiere performance. So The Selfish Giant was composed by Clarissa Saad and Lila Palmer through American Lyric Theater's Composer Librettist Development Program. And we had worked with them to create curriculum for online learning during the pandemic,
Oh.
but this will be the first time it's performed for an audience. So it is a world premiere of this new operatic composition, which we're so excited to bring, again, to children, to families, to anyone in the community.
They have so much going on, they had to bring 3 people to tell you
So
about
much.
it.
Exactly.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, I look forward to hearing some of your productions. And you picked a wonderful place at Universal Preservation Hall. I've been up there, and the acoustics are amazing.
We're
And
really excited.
there's plenty of seating, so
Yes.
enjoy that.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank
And don't
you
forget
so
to take
much.
this video.
Uh, Thank you for having us. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll do it again.
All right.
Yeah,
sounds good.
and there's one more thing? No.
Thank you.
We're going to go right over here, and we've talked about music for the past 2 segments, but right now, we're going to stay with the arts because, in a sense, being an author is an art, right?
Yes,
And I've known Frank for a while. He's written a number of books, and your website is A Rational Optimist.
Rational Optimist. It's a
Yeah.
blog.
Yeah, it's a blog. Tell me about this book.
Called The American Crisis, Chronicling and Confronting the Trump Shitstorm. And about,
And it's been a storm.
yes, it has. And I took the title, The American Crisis, from Thomas Paine. He wrote The American Crisis in 1776. These are the times that try men's souls.
We know that, and here we are again.
I felt that this was a real crisis of the nation's soul. And I started writing about it in 2016, of course, on my blog. And I found that this story took over my blog for the next 4 or 5 plus years. And then I finally decided that it was worth doing a book, bringing it all together and selecting items from my blog that spoke to these issues.
That were relevant, yeah.
What I tried to do all through was to understand and explain, figure out what is going on and what we can do about it, how it affects us. So that's what I was trying to do, and that's what I brought together in this
So you
book.
were looking at motives of the people that were doing these things. They must have had a motive to do it.
Exactly, yes. What
is the motive?
made people behave the way that they were behaving? It was something that really captured my attention, and it certainly relates to the future of the country. This is a crisis the country is going through, and is still going through. This is not over yet.
No. Well, we've seen the rise of groups that we never thought we would see a rise of. When I see the American flag being flown next to the Confederate flag and the Nazi swastika, it's very disturbing.
Absolutely.
Why would you bring, when they talk about fascism, and somebody said, oh yeah, the Antifa. I said, yeah, we were Antifa. That was World War II, right?
Well, one major
Anti-fascism.
major factor here is racial anxiety and antagonism. Many white people in America were more or less okay with minorities getting ahead until we had a black president.
Oh, they got ahead.
And when we had a black president, that really blew a lot of white people's minds.
Really?
And they felt a great deal of threat and anxiety about their status in the country, losing their status in the country, their caste status. And there was a huge backlash, and that's what we're still seeing playing out. And that, I think, is really a key factor in what is going on.
It's funny, I've never thought of it that way. Because he was an excellent president, and he was well-versed and knowledgeable, what's not to like?
Well, actually, I was not a great fan of Obama.
Yeah.
I was a Republican. I was a Republican for 53 years. Not anymore.
Yeah. A lot of people were changing their status. But, well, I'm not saying that you have to like him or not like him, but he was a person who was a statesman. We don't see statesmen anymore. Maybe that's where I'm going to go. Where are the statesmen now?
I feel that President Biden is a statesman.
I agree.
I was
but
a
where are the
strong
other ones
supporter.
coming up?
There are a lot of people. There are plenty of people coming up. In the Democratic Party, Pete Buttigieg,
Yeah.
Amy Klobuchar, Michael Bennet, Chris Murphy from Connecticut. There are a lot of very good people. Booker, Cory Booker, a lot of excellent people in the Democratic Party who are really dedicated to the welfare of the country, which frankly I don't see on the other side. I really don't feel that the other side is dealing with issues honestly and forthrightly for the benefit of the country. And I was a Republican for 53 years.
Well,
It's very sad to me what's happened to the party.
when you see that, and I've talked to other people too, that when you saw the rise of the white supremacists in the Ku Klux Klan and the Nazi Party, who would have thought that? I mean, that was like, it blew my mind. I mean, I grew up in an age where patriotism was, you cared about the country and you cared about people in it and equal rights and human rights and all this. And then what happened? It's like, it's sort of like you had one voice that gave power to all these fringe groups.
Yes, yes. We've seen a lot of things in the past 6+ years that I would never have imagined possible in America. I thought America was a different country. I was proven wrong. The 2016 certainly shocked me and told me that something was going on in the country that I didn't understand, and I set about trying to understand it. That's what I did here.
So you've written these blogs, Do you write a blog every day, or do you write them every week, or when the spirit moves
About
you?
twice a week. I try not to overdo it.
Yeah. And so when you looked back at all the blogs that you wrote, I know another person who did the same thing and published as well. When you look back, were you kind of like had to say, this is good, this is not so relevant, this is, how did you choose your blogs?
Well, obviously, I chose ones that were still worth reading, I felt, and that chronicled the events as they were happening, giving you, like, as journalists say, the first draft of history, seeing how things looked at the time that they were unfolding. And I did a lot of editing. Frankly, I edited them down to remove a lot of verbiage. I removed a lot of repetition because from one thing to another.
Yeah, if it's repeated in 3 different blogs, you're gonna.
Sure, so I took a lot of that out to try to make it a coherent and flowing narrative.
And where is this book available?
It's available at Bookhouse of Stuyvesant Plaza, or else you can get it from me directly if you just Google my name, Frank S. as in Sam Robinson.
Okay, good, so they can get the book then. Do you foresee writing another book? A continuation of this? I mean, this is written and it's done. Now, what's going to happen in 23 and ahead? You're going to continue to do blogs? Right?
I'll continue to write my blog. I love doing that. As far as books are concerned, I've written about, I've lost count, 9 or 10 books.
I know you
and
have.
each one is different from all of the others, so I don't repeat myself.
What was the first book you ever read?
1973. It's called Albany's O'Connell Machine.
Oh, the O'Connell Machine. Oh my goodness, you went all the way back there. Yeah, I remember the O'Connell Machine. Yeah, and it was like that was it, right? It was the I guess the power of in the government.
Well, that organization ran the city of Albany for half a century.
That's right. And you wrote about that.
Mm-hmm.
And did you write a book called Rational Optimist? Or was
Yes,
that,
the case for rational optimism.
Yeah, that's right, because I remember Greg and I had talked about that, yeah.
I think I did your show.
Yeah, you did my show too, yeah, we talked about that as well. We need a voice of reason and someone who can sit back and analyze what's happening. I think there's so much knee-jerk reaction. How do you feel that social media, I know you're a blogger, how do you believe that social media is fueling some of these things?
Well, social media is terrible. When the internet got going, we imagined that it would be a great thing for educating people, giving people more facts, more information, better information. We didn't contemplate how it was taken over by people with bad motives. And there are just so many people out there who promote stuff that serves their interests for one reason or another. I recall one interview with a guy, he posted something on the internet about how votes were stolen for Hillary Clinton. Well, it was totally made up, totally false, a complete fabrication. But he made a lot of money out of it because it went viral and it got all over the place. He got advertising. He made thousands of dollars off of that. People can do this, and that is destroying people's source of information.
So the money motive gets you to make an outrageous claim so that people will run to your thing to read about it. And is it true, is it not? Whatever your motive is, it ends up with being the money is the root of it.
And then there's a key phenomenon called confirmation bias. And that is that people are always glad and embrace information or so-called information that supports their preconceived ideas, and they're good at shunning information that conflicts with their preconceived ideas. And you know what? Smarter people are better at doing that because smarter people have all of the rationalizations that they can dismiss things that they don't agree with and find reasons to embrace stuff that they do agree with.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Smarter you are. Oh well. If you want to read his book, I believe you can get it at the Bookstore.
Book House of Stuyvesant
Are
Plaza.
you
has
doing
it.
any author presentations?
I-
I think you've got one coming up, don't you?
I did one there, and I have one coming up at the Albany Public Library, the main library, March 7th at noon.
Okay, and at that time, you'll discuss your book and
Yes.
the blogging, and maybe get people to start reading. You know, the most important thing is to be able to take in information and try and do an analysis of it. And we don't have a lot of critical thinking anymore, I think that, I'm not saying we don't have it, but it seems to not be quite as popular. Right?
It's a problem. It's
Yeah.
a problem.
Say hi to your lovely wife for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's a poet.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, we have to get around and talk about her poetry.
Okay.
Good, sounds good. Frank, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you
Good
so
luck
much
with
for
your book.
having me.
Yeah, and let's see if we can't turn things around.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna turn around, I'm turning around right now, and here we are. And you're the first time that we've had your organization on, it's the Creative Action Unlimited.
Yes.
Unlimited. But what you're doing is amazing. It really is. Because I wasn't too familiar with it, and I started reading the website and see, because we were talking about social issues here.
Yes.
It's a great transition because you
Absolutely.
are looking at
Social change.
social change. So
Social
let's talk
change.
about what you're doing.
So the show, it's the Moss Space Project. It's Moss Space is the name of the show. And Creative Action Unlimited is a theater and film production company that produces original work that deals with some sort of social issue. Our particular show, Moss Space, is about mothers.
Mothers, and I love what you're doing with tickets.
Yes.
Just amazing. I read that and I go, oh, wow, that's great.
Because
You're putting your money where your mouth is.
that is so
Where your
important
mouth
to
and
me.
the money is, you know what I mean.
Yeah, like as an artist, as a creator, working with other creators, it was very important to me that the entire ensemble be mothers.
You're the director.
I'm the director.
Yeah.
I'm a mom, and I believe that I wanted to work with other mothers, and I also wanted to encourage mothers to come. And I think that arts organizations right now are struggling with diversifying their audiences, and they're struggling with how do we do sense of belonging, how do we do inclusion, and they have the invitation, and it's like you've got to do more than the invitation, you have to make it accessible. And so
Exactly.
if making it accessible says, all right, Black moms, you get a discount for going to this show because
Yeah.
it's about mothers, and that's what we're going to do. Single moms,
I love that.
you
I
get
loved
a discount
It. I loved
because
it.
this is about you. So
Yeah.
that it was just very important that it's not just the product or the performance, but it's really the process and the journey and everything about it.
And you brought two actors
Mothers
with you.
me, yes. So this is Stephanie and
And
Alisa,
Alisa.
yep, who are both in the ensemble. And one of the wonderful things about Creative Action Unlimited is that the ensemble works with the director to devise the theater piece. It's devised theater. So while
Devised theater.
It
Explain to me
is.
devised theater.
So devised
Because
theater.
I've done theater, but what is devised?
Devised theater, right?
It's not improv.
It's a little different than improv. I will give a slight definition, but then I'm going to turn it over to Alisa and Steph to talk about how they've been experiencing this devised process. So for us, or for me, it is having these structured conversations after auditions, which are really interesting because there's no script. So it's like, come and talk to me. I want to hear a story. And I chose women who told stories that I wanted to hear more of. And
So this was a creative process.
it was a whole process.
Wonderful.
So I chose women that had stories that I wanted to hear, and I definitely wanted women who had no acting experience but had always wanted to be on stage but couldn't because they were moms, as well as moms.
And didn't have 6 weeks to do it.
And didn't have 6 weeks to do it, and as well as moms who were in theater and film but stopped because they had children. And so it was really having these guided, facilitated conversations, and really from those conversations, what do we want to say about motherhood? What do we want to say about these archetypes of what it means to be a working mom and a single mom or a stay-at-home mom or a white mom or a black mom, or like what are all of the different layers there? And what we found in this process through those conversations is that so much of life, so much of society touches on that one pivotal identifier as mother.
So what is Melissa doing?
Yes. So let's hear about
Yours-
the
Well, I don't know who
pieces.
wants
Yes.
to go first.
Yes.
I didn't mean to pick one over the other. I just,
But yeah, like,
because she was sitting next to her. That's
Yes. And so yeah, let's hear about this device process for you.
I love device theater. It is definitely got my heart. This was not my first device theater experience, but when I found out about it, I said, yes, I need to do that. I just love the process. As you said, it's creative from the get-go, with writing prompts and working together collaboratively. And we really are just a group of 5 women who have gotten to know each other on a much deeper level. So I feel like I've got lifelong friends now, which is awesome. And I just love hearing everyone's experience. I love people and I love hearing about their experience.
So you're a mom?
So, yes.
So tell me about
Yes.
your kids.
I have one.
Okay.
He's 11, going on 25. He is saving for a car
Okay.
already.
Okay.
He loves basketball. Eat, sleep, breathe basketball.
Well, that's a good thing.
So, yeah. So one of the things that's been a little challenging with this is I've had to miss some games because of, you know, rehearsal and creating and all of
Yeah,
that. But that's the life. And sometimes we have to do, as moms, we have to do what we love to feed ourselves.
If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Exactly. It's like when you get on an airplane and they say, put that oxygen
First, because you can help somebody else. Yeah.
So doing this show, I'm putting the oxygen mask on myself.
Good.
It's just been such a light in my life. So.
Okay, Alisa, do you have an oxygen mask?
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to piggyback on what Steph said about the friendships we've created. I had only been living in the capital region about 6 weeks. When
Oh,
I went,
really?
I
Well,
moved
welcome.
here. I went to a Creative Action Unlimited production, and it was just wonderful. And I never left. I kept going to every event, and then when this project came along, it was especially beautiful for me. I moved here because my daughter's on the spectrum, and she began her college journey at St. Rose. And I wanted to be close to
So where did
support
you
her.
come from?
Maryland.
Maryland, okay.
I didn't know anyone here. I know the mailman now, but I didn't know anyone. And I wanted to support my daughter. So I went to this production, and meeting these folks and getting involved in this project, it's been amazing. I feel like
We've
every
made you
rehearsal-
all feel welcome. though.
Yes, the rehearsals are like play dates.
They are. They are. It's at least once a rehearsal someone says, I needed this, or this is better than therapy, or this is like therapy. Like at least once a rehearsal, there's that feeling of just kind of like, we have, as moms, as women, we've created space for each other. And it's really great that we have that space that we can share.
So let's talk about the production and where it is and why it is.
Yes. So this year, Creative Action Unlimited, all of our productions are at the Little Theater at Russell Sage College, which is absolutely amazing. The Black Box Theater is
It's a nice,
really
I've
great
been there, it's
space,
a lovely theater.
to do, a lot of these original works, and because, they take so many different forms. And so what I love, because the show itself, there's, three black moms, 2 white moms, and it's really diving into motherhood and all of those things, raising good humans post-Trump, post all of this stuff that has happened,
Right.
quarantine, all of the things that have happened, the intersectionality
Who
of that.
would have thought that we went, you couldn't have written a script like this.
I really, no, seriously.
Written a script.
The
pandemic,
all of the stuff, all of the things, and a lot of that, and I think that what we've come to realize is that mothers have taken on everyone's trauma, right? Like, who are people calling? Who were people calling when they needed someone?
Support.
Mom, right? When
Yeah.
black men are dying in the streets
Yeah.
and in officer-involved shootings, who do they call for? Mama,
Yeah.
So it's just like, moms
Yeah,
take on.
that broke my heart.
Oh
It's
my
happened
gosh.
more than once.
Right, you know what I mean? Because
It's not just that one that we
it's
heard
not just
about.
one, like we call for mama, like
Yeah.
that is mom is something so important and vital to us. And it's just, there is not space for mom on theater, and in the theater, on the stage, there aren't a lot of spaces where we are celebrating and really diving into how difficult it is to be all the things for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what moms have to be.
And that's
They
what
have to
moms
be
have to
there
be.
things are good, when things are bad, when things go south or whatever, you know, you gotta.
It's mom who's there. It tends to be mom
and
who's
have
there.
that chicken soup ready.
Yeah, right, right? You know?
And your clothes iron.
And the clothes iron and the laundry done, and now, you know what I mean? Like all of the expectations and all of the things. And so,
And
yeah.
keep those balls in the air.
I'll keep everything in the air. So.
I joke spinning plates.
Yes, yep. And it's like, I love that this comes, that the weekends of the performances is the last weekend of Black History Month and the first weekend of Women's History Month, right? It's the perfect bridge.
It's the perfect
bridge. I am a single Black mom of 3 beautiful souls.
Oh, tell me about your kids.
Oh, so yes, I have twin 3-year-olds, so it's fun.
Twin 3-year-old. Oh my, I can't even imagine what it was like when they were 2-year-olds.
And so yes, I have twin 3-year-olds and a 2nd grader who is 7, and he's in the South Colony School District. And so and when I was in quarantine, so when like the early ideas of this piece were
Because they were in quarantine with you the whole time.
So imagine that.
Mommy, what counts? I'm bored.
4 months in the house with 3 children under the age of 5 by myself because I had no partner, right? Like that was the space that I came out of.
Tag, you are it.
I'm it, you know, for that entire time. And so it's just kind of like those kinds of experiences are what come out of this production. And each one of us, which was amazing, in our conversations, we would like say something kind of offhand, like, oh, I wish I could say this to my therapist. And we found out that everyone in the cast had things that they wished they could have said to their therapist that they don't.
But they can say it there.
And so we created an entire scene about things that mothers want to say to their therapists but don't for whatever reason, right? And so it's like
because
really,
I must be a bad mom if I feel
exactly.
I'm mom guilt.
The
mom guilt. Yeah, I know that. I've had kids.
It's yes, yeah. You know, it's so real, and I'm really excited that this to me is just the beginning of what I want to be many projects that explore all of the different facets of motherhood.
Okay, my question is, what's your background?
You know,
is this something you've done all your life, or something
it
you
seems that way
wanted
almost,
to do?
right?
Yeah.
I actually was a high school history teacher in the South Bronx for 9 years.
Oh my gosh!
And then I ran an after-school center in Jersey City, New Jersey, for a Christian nonprofit at a public school. And what those experiences, they did prepare me for devised theater. I didn't realize that that's what I was working towards. But with my high schoolers and at the after-school center, my kids couldn't read. Literacy was a real problem for them. And I couldn't put textbooks in front of them and expect that they could get the information I needed them to. So I developed role plays and simulations in order to have them experience history.
So this all works together. That's today.
That's all, and this is what I do. So it's just really, I've always used theater as a way to promote social change and historical understanding or social or cultural understanding, and that's all I'm doing now, just with adults.
And it's an easy way to get your message across without being
preachy.
Yes.
Yes. There is definitely a need for people to receive what we're saying without it feeling like we're being preachy.
Yeah.
It's while there might be moments of being uncomfortable, that's when we grow, that's when we learn.
Absolutely.
Right?
You're absolutely right.
But it's not about like making any like shaming. That is absolutely not what any of us are about.
No.
Because as mothers, we understand what the shame game can do.
We've been talking with Jay.
Yes.
Jay Gayle, she is the director.
Yes.
Melissa Howe.
Oh, no, this is Stephanie, yes.
Or Stephanie, I'm sorry. What
That's
did
okay.
I get Melissa? That was from another show. That was the one earlier, I'm sorry. You have to forgive me, Stephanie.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay.
You know,
forgive you.
I use very few notes, so my brain is kind of, going here.
No problem.
And Alyssa here. I knew you were Stephanie.
We forgive each other at Moss Baby.
Yes.
I forgive you here.
There's an
No
entire
problem.
piece called I'm Sorry and all the things that women tend to apologize for.
Yes.
So even talk show hosts.
Yeah, exactly. We all do this.
So check out Creative Action Unlimited. It's over at Russell Sage. You won't be disappointed, and you won't be preached to either.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Go women, go.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk. Oh, and you're smiling.
I am smiling. This
Yeah,
is like,
Jim
I
Salengo.
like just being here, like listening to, that I have to call my mom in the car on the way back to
Yeah, you have to call your mom and say how much you love her. I know
do.
that. Jim Salengo is the executive director of the Downtown Schenectady Improvement Corporation, but he's here because we have a great, now, we had the soup stroll.
Yes.
And that was a huge success.
Oh my gosh,
I
so
saw the
many
photos.
people. Yeah, I can't even
Thousands of people.
I mean, it was the perfect storm of.
The weather was great.
Beautiful weather. I mean, a record number of participants, and I think just people after the last couple of years are just really
Wanna
interested
get
in
out.
getting out
And they could be
and
outside on
socializing.
J Street, it was all open.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and just all day long, nonstop. It was so fun and satisfying to see. The businesses did fantastically well.
And the
feedback
winner,
was great.
tell me the winner, that just intrigued me.
Simone's Kitchen? Yeah, Simone's Kitchen, which is relatively new. They just officially opened last year, right on the corner of J and Franklin Street on the marketplace down there. And they're a fast casual.
Right by City Hall.
Yeah, right across from City Hall. And these amazing young proprietors, they've immediately jumped into things. It's a fast casual Mediterranean restaurant, but it is fresh, delicious, and they've just jumped in, they've gotten involved in everything, and trust me, they've earned all the accolades that they're
And what
getting.
was the winner?
What was the soup?
Yeah, what
It was a creamy tomato, but it was not cream. They used
no.
like a, what's that?
No, they were unique.
Yeah, they were unique because it was like a cashew milk, so
Yeah.
they kept it vegan with a harissa, sweet harissa, with a little pita in there, and it was outstanding. Yeah, and they won both the popular vote and the judges' top pick. So clearly, it was
It was a winner.
Really.
Okay, now you've got something else coming up. Excuse me, I dropped something. You've got Restaurant Week, and I
Yes.
love the idea that you're doing lunches too. Not you personally, but the restaurants.
I'll probably be eating some. Yeah, I mean, this is an idea that came up last year. We have some new
I don't remember.
businesses.
Did you have lunches last year? I don't remember that.
Well, a couple people had asked about it because they're not set up to really do a full dinner that would meet the price point of the promotion. So we.
But they wanted to participate.
Yeah, and so we did make that available last year, and so with registrations this year, we actually made it an official thing. So if you choose to do dinner, you could do dinner and lunch, or if you just want to do lunch. So, you know, a place, for example, like Bountiful Bread, which is down on Lower State Street, right across from my office.
Great place.
Great place.
Yeah.
They're not really known as a dinner destination, but they're a very popular
And
lunch
Amanda's
destination.
Pizza's right next. Is it
Annabelle's.
Annabelle.
Yeah,
Who started with
I got to
me.
say, you know, we've been down. Our office has been down on Lower State Street.
Yeah. You're right across from them.
Since 2009, and
Yeah.
it's so fun to see how much that stretch of State Street
Oh
has
my
grown.
gosh, yeah, I mean.
The whole Frog Alley.
Yeah, I mean,
It's an
amazing.
entire city block.
And now there's gonna be a butcher shop down there, I understand?
Yeah, that's one of the things they have in the works. They have not only the brewery, they're doing a distillery, they've got Annabelle's, Bountiful Bread. Yeah, it's just changing so much. now.
Yeah, and
great.
it's just like kind of like livening up in that area that we it was like kind of a den zone for a while, and now it's like, bam.
Yeah, I said, whatever it is now, 14 years that we moved down there, yeah, it was definitely quiet, but.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said dead zone, but it was.
No,
quiet.
but it's true, there just wasn't as much happening
Going on.
down there now,
No
because
reason to
not
walk
only.
down there, now there is.
Yeah, and not only the businesses, but you have major new residential projects down there. We know a lot of people who need to
Be able to
eat
walk
and walk
somewhere.
and be entertained, and so, these new businesses come in, and not only are they there for the overall community, but they also have a sort of a custom-made residential base, on top of the Stockade, which of course is.
Exactly,
the
with Arthur's
Stockade
Market
neighborhood.
down there.
Yeah.
And I know we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
the thing, but before I do that, I noticed there's a little buzz about a new market going into where the Honda place was, or the Mohawk?
Yes, yeah, that's something.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, well, it's something that the county is working on closely. There's that property, Mohawk Honda was they're kind of consolidated everything over into Route 50 there in
Yeah.
Glenville. So the idea, because there is a lack of a a grocery store
There's
that
gonna be
offers all
Schenectady
the.
Co-op is talking about
Yeah,
it as
so
well.
there's absolutely the Electric City Co-op.
Yeah.
This particular property, and I think it was in the paper, they're looking at bringing in a community-based grocery store to provide the essentials, really. I mean, you can get probably not the healthiest things at some of the corner stores, but
Yeah.
I mean, you get fresh meat and fresh vegetables and all these things that you really need for the community. So
Yeah.
that's what they're exploring
Healthy
for that
eating.
area.
And also you got Ron Siriano is opening up his Italian
The
deli.
Italian deli down on Clinton
See,
Street.
so
yeah.
we're getting now, I think because of all the housing that we're getting, or apartments that are being built, everybody said, well, there's all these apartments, but where do they go? Well, now they got a place to go.
Oh, yeah, and it's really fun to see these people out and about, because,
Yeah.
when I have big windows in our office,
Yeah,
and,
and
you
you
just
see
see lots of activity.
Street
Right,
traffic.
and then people, downtown is really a magnet for the community. It's just great to see people on a random Wednesday, Thursday night, even if there's nothing, a big production or a big to-do going on in downtown. The restaurants are packed, there's people around, so really people are
And
choosing
you got the
downtown.
Schenectady Armory, not the Schenectady, it's the Armory in New York
Armory and
Studio.
Studios,
Yeah.
yes.
And they're doing fabulous.
Yeah,
too.
the Van
Raymond
Gogh
Gira's doing-
exhibit is just,
And he's got a restaurant
amazing.
in there too.
yeah,
a small
yeah,
little-
the lounge, yeah.
Okay, now, let's talk about
The
Restaurant
promotion,
Week.
yeah.
How
So it's
many
co-
restaurants?
So it's funny, like even in between the time I left to come here, people are still signing up. So
Well,
I
sure.
believe we're going to
I
end
know
up
that it's going to be, because this is the 20th through the 26th, right?
February 20th through the 26th.
Yes, so therefore, they still got time to. sign
Yes,
up.
right. But we're going to have in the range of 20-plus restaurants.
Wow.
So
What I like is the lunch and the dinner. If you really want to get into it, you could do 12, at least 12, right? Or is this 0 to 6, is that 7? Or how many days is that?
it's 7 days, yeah.
7 days.
It'll be
Okay, so you
7
got an
days.
opportunity 14 times.
Right. And,
you wanted to.
I think the restaurants would not mind if you did that.
Yeah, go lunch and
Yeah.
dinner.
But, they always do such a great job, and so, it's the, dinner menus will be a fixed price
20
menu, at
and
least
30,
3.
20 and 30.
Yep, 3 courses minimum, some do more, for 30, or the lunch is minimum 2 for
You can
20.
upgrade if you want to.
Yeah, there's some places that will throw in another appetizer or a salad course,
Yeah.
or even a glass of wine.
Yeah, okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, and it's fun, and this promotion, we do it in conjunction since the beginning, since 2006, in partnership with the Chamber of Schenectady County, which is affiliated with the Capital Region
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Chamber.
and of course, there's these restaurant weeks in different areas, which is fine, because what we really want people to do is come from Saratoga and try Schenectady restaurants, and vice versa maybe, just to kind of get a promotion of what the good things that we have in our area. I mean, I
Yeah.
love the Capital Region.
And, it's interesting you mentioned that, because with the soup stroll that happened back at the end of January, we were fielding a lot of calls from way outside the area, up in the Adirondacks, up in, middle or northern
People were
Vermont.
calling and saying, can
Yeah,
we
and
come?
we had also, we've done a thing where we've really greatly expanded our advertising for Restaurant Week and the soup stroll, and I think people know enough about Schenectady and have heard enough about Schenectady that they're willing to make that trip to come and check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that these promotions really help a lot, I think, to do that. And it's funny, I was telling Amy with the soup stroll, I have a friend that's from Aiken, South Carolina, and I was telling her about it, and she says, oh, that's great, we'll do Aiken for soup. And I thought, I
see?
said, what a cute name.
That's a whole thing. They could have bacon for just anything.
I know.
They got to do a bacon event.
Aiken for bacon.
But just wanted to mention too with the promotion,
Yeah.
when people do come down, in the past we've had actual printed survey cards that
Yeah.
people could fill out, and then you could win some gift certificates from the restaurants. In this day and age, we're going more digital, so all the restaurants will have a QR code.
Okay.
So we do encourage folks to come down, scan the code, fill out the information in there, be registered. But it's also good for us to get an idea of where people are coming from, to help
Exactly.
us target our advertising, things like that. So.
Well, I hope you have a real, I know it will, I don't say I hope, I know it's gonna be successful, it always is. People love our restaurants, we have such great
Yeah,
restaurants.
it really is.
We are not your White Tower restaurants anymore. I mean, we are everything. We've got
There's
every
such
kind of
a
ethnic,
Moroccan, Mediterranean, Japanese, Italian,
Asian fusion, you know, well, we
Irish
go
pub.
on and on.
Yeah, oh.
On and on and on.
Great diversity and just really great food.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Oh, it's great
Yeah,
to
I'm
see
gonna
you.
tell you who's coming up next week, because we got a great lineup next week. Bandabola Sports Foundation, we have the Bridge Street Theater, it's their first time here. They're from the Catskills. Schenectady, or Singles Outreach Services, they've got a brand new program coming up. Social Club of Schenectady, that's a really interesting one. And then we're gonna talk about those free taxes. Stay tuned for our next show coming up on the 22nd. We'll be looking for you. I'm Ann Pearl, your host for Capital Region Today.